Good evening, race fans. Urban Pirate is back. The voice is working again-ish. It's still a bit squeaky. Suck it up. It's what it is. This is Black Flag Racing TV, and it's Tuesday evening, which means one thing and one thing only. It's wank night. No, I'm only joking. It's Smoking Pirellis Racing Club Tuesday F1. We are bang into the season now. Round number 2 at Great Britain, the home of British motorsport, and as I said in the details right there, one of the greatest racing circuits on the planet. How did we get here? Well, most of us drove from into Northampton and parked down in Champion. Right, that's where we were last week. Not Austria, as I led you to believe, but Australia. Albert Park last week, and it ended like this. Cameron in the Mercedes won quite significantly. That's how he got on. He did really well. Sean in second, Naismith in third, Johnson named after a man part. It was in fourth, Shen in fifth, Rapid F1 in the Alfa Romeo home in sixth, and so on and so on and so on. Second half of the field looks like this. Quite a few DNFs. Chuck, Black Box, Death Peacock, Panda, Explicit, Drunk Pirate, my brother from another mother, and a Barbarian, or Barbarian, if you can spell correctly, all did not finish. That's how the Drivers' Championship looks. Only one race, so it looks exactly the same as the results table. It would, because there's only been one bloody race. Constructors' Championship looks like... where's it gone? I've lost the Constructors' Championship. Holy moly, there it is. It's back. Haas lead the way, 71 points. Mercedes was 62. Alfa Romeo joint with Ferrari on 50. Aston Martin and Red Bull still to score points. Haha, suck it, baby. Right, moving on. This is where we are. We are at Silverstone this week, and I absolutely love this racetrack. It was originally built in the early 1940s, 1942, as an operating training unit during the Second World War to train people to fly bombers over and go and smash up the Germans, isn't it? 1947, after the war, a group of friends decided to race some cars around there, and they named that race the Mutton Grand Prix. Interesting fact, I found this out last time I went to Silverstone. It was called the Mutton Grand Prix, and the reason it was called the Mutton Grand Prix, because a sheep wandered onto the track while they were racing, and one of them ran the sheep over. That simple. Yeah, that simple. Over the years, it's changed its shape a little bit. The biggest change was in 2010. They brought in a new series of corners after Abbey, and that created more overtaking opportunities, etc., etc. Let's have a rundown on the corners. So it's 3.6 miles, and that is the main Grand Prix circuit. There are some other connotations, but we aren't going to talk about those because we're not going to use them. Iconic turns. Turn 1, Abbey. Excuse me. Then you've got Farm Curve, number 2, which was reprofiled in 2010. It used to be a straight, it's now a curve. Originally, that was where the first ever pit lane was on Farm. Turn 3, Village, then 4, the Loop, which is the slowest corner on the track, a very tight hairpin, into Aintree, named after the racecourse Aintree, of course. That takes you into the Wellington Straight, up to Brooklands, then Luffield. It's a long right turn. It's named after the quite a Luffield Abbey. Woodcote is next, and then you go down the National Pit Straight. That is where the pit straight is if you're using it for the BTCC or whatever it is. Then turn 9 is Cops. Loads of woodland surrounding that. Then you've got the iconic 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, which is Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel. A series of in, out, in, out, in, out, back and forward, S-bends, into the Hangar Straight. Turn 15 into Stowe. Then you've got turn 16, which is Vale. That takes you into 17, 18, which is Club Corner. That's a flat-out final corner, which takes you down to the start-finish line into the International Pit Straight. Now, I know it was renamed after Sir Lewis Bellend, but I'm not going to call it the Hamilton Straight because I don't fucking like it. It's the International Pit Straight, and that's the way it's going to stay until I die. And there we have it. That is what this circuit is all about. There are 2 DRS zones. Detection for zone number 1 is just before turn 3 as you come out of farm curve. And then the DRS zone, of course, is between turn 5 and 6. And then the second one is as you come into Magnussen, Beckett's, Cops, and then it's down to turn 15 into sector 3. That's how it looks. Qualifying is about to begin. Shall we get on with it? Come in. Let's do this shit. Right. Shall we find out who's out there today? That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? Right. We've got David Barry in the Haas. I've got my map up, haven't I? Sean also joining me in the Haas. No one's out on track yet. Barbarian. Chuck Brothers. Chuck Brothers has got a qualifying ban. You'll see him come out onto track and then he'll get himself disqualified because he was naughty and he's getting his ass whooped. And no qualifying for Chuck today. Lee Craig in the Mercedes-Benz, wasted in the Alpine. Explicit Simo in the Aston Martin. We're going to go on board with someone in a minute. Oh yeah. Rapid F1. He's in the Alfa Romeo. Zach Johnson in the McLaren. Panda in the other Alpine. Is he in the Alpine? No, he's in the Williams, isn't he? He's in the Williams, which I think wasted in as well. Ignore me. Chuckle, reigning champion, Chuckle Brothers in the Ferrari. Skills down in the Alpine. Naismith Chuckles, long-suffering partner in crime in the other Ferrari. A Death Peacock, along with an Assassin in the AlphaTauris. Vroom is in the Alfa Romeo. I'm feeling better, Roso, but it's still not 100%, but we're cracking on with it. Cameron Poulter in the Mercedes-Benz. Drunk Pirate in the other Aston Martin. Black Box is riding on time in the Red Bull car. And the Pat, the one, the only, the Pat. Heavy rain in the race. Love that shizzle. How about that? Bit of rain at Silverstone, like that's ever happened before. Yeah, listen, I've been to Silverstone 3 times, and twice it fucking rained, and it was shit. No, the race was pretty good, but I got wet and I got cold. Anyway, who's out on track? Who do you think's going to be quick today? Well, look, Chuckle's always going to be quick, isn't he? Because he's the champion and all that shit. But who knows? Who knows who's going to do what? At some point during this, you will hear the occasional squeak coming from my voice. It's not 100% back to its dulcet late night chat show tones. It will get there. Unfortunately, I had to put it through the ringer on the weekend because I had I think I did about 9 hours of broadcasting over Saturday and Sunday for the GTFusion and GT Champions World Championship races. Not quite so much going on this weekend, so I'm easing back in. And of course, we'll be back with Smoky Pirellis on Thursday. I pick up where I didn't leave off last week because I just couldn't do it. Genuinely, when I lost my voice on Wednesday, when I say lost my voice, sometimes people say they lost their voice and it's like a little bit quiet. I literally couldn't speak for 2 days. Not a fucking word. Nothing. Every time I opened my mouth, it just went, and that was it. Nothing. But there we have it. So, we're going to do an on-board. Yeah, Chuck Brothers disqualified from session part to a dangerous location. We knew that was going to happen, purely because, we had to. What track have I got tonight? I've actually got Silverstone. I know last week I made it up, but I've actually got the right track tonight. Lap 1, chaos pending. Oh, I don't know about that. I think people will respect Silverstone. We'll see. It might be absolute carnage. Who knows? Who knows? Right, fastest lap on the board. That was Cameron Poulter. He's done a 1:27.6. That's not a bad start, is it? I did want to do a full on board with somebody who's actually doing a fast lap. Well, we need to go further back. Rapid F1. Let's do a lap with Rapid F1. He's on an out lap now in that Alfa Romeo. We'll remove that, shall we? And then you can see good. You can see better then, can't you? So just getting some heat into those tyres as he comes round Club, ready to get on, or coming towards Club, should I say, to get on that power. Coming through Vale now. sweeping around to the right hand side into club. On the power he goes, straight into the international pit straight. On that power he goes, heading down to turn 1. Abby, just be a little bit careful into here for the start of the race. You swoop that in, sweeping around the left hand side into farm. Then you break down for the village. And then really slow, slowest corner on the racetrack, into the left hand big switchback, the loop. Takes you round A tree, which is turn 5, into your first DRS zone, rear wing open, boom, just like that. Down the Wellington straight, heading towards Brooklands, and then into Luffield. Round Brooklands we go. This is Luffield, takes you round the right, almost switching back on itself, then into Woodcote, and the Wellington, then down towards Cops, which is turn 9. Here we go, heading down towards Cops now, braking just after that 50 metre board, so not bad there. Down he heads now into the very iconic Maggot, Beckett's and Chapel, switching back and forward. You've got to feather that throttle, look after the power through there, keep it on the road, use all the curbs, then powering down that hanger straight, getting up to top gear as quickly as you can before you break down the gears. 50 metre board on those brakes, get it turned down into Stowe. Pretty quick corner with Stowe, turn 15, quickest corner on the racetrack. Then into Vale we go, turn 17, and then Club, turn 18, and then we'll see what lap time he's put on the board for us. And that is a 1:28.0 from Rapid F1. As lap times go, that's not too shabby. So, how are we looking thus far, folks? Let's have a little look, you see. It's husky and beautiful as always. Thank you very much, Nat. Yeah, we'll see how we get on. At some point, don't get me too excited throughout the race. One, because I'll slip off my chin. I'm joking. Don't get me too excited during the race, because at some point it will get squeaky. Last night when I was doing our I forgot what it's called, our gauntlet races, we were doing Brands Hatch, and it was there was, I think, 5 cars separated by like 0.4 of a second in the top 5, and I got really squeaky and excited. It was odd. Right, Cameron Poulter, he has the hot lap. He's on the front row, 1:27.605. Reigning champion Chuckle, he is 1:27.6. We'll have to do it on board with him at some stage. Bear in mind he's the champion, and because we've always got a little something going, especially for Chuckle, of course. We saw Rapid F1 in the Alfa Romeo. He put in 28.0, put him on that second row. Explicit Simo next to him. Row 3, Skills Dan with Lee Craig. Assassin with Black Box on row 4. Row 5 is Wasted with Zach Johnson. And Zach Johnson's teammate Barbarian just behind him on row 6 with Panda. Still waiting for David Barry, Sean Naismith, Death Peacock. That's going to hurt my voice, doesn't it? I'm probably not going to do that too often. Vroom, a Drunk Pirate, and The Pat. And most of those are on an out lap now. I think all of them are on a lap, actually. Drunk Pirate's out there, he's on a lap, as is The Pat. Chuck Brothers got DSQ'd. He's a naughty boy. And, yeah, he's got a qualifying ban. So he's going to start in 20th place. Chuckle is on another out lap, and whenever Chuckle's on a lap, we do what? We do this. Oh, I've lost it. Hang on. It never gets boring. It's as funny now as it was when I first did it. In fact, it's probably funnier now because he's probably getting to the stage where he's thinking, will you freaking stop? That's bloody annoying. Right, not much change. Top 3 still the same. Explicit up into 4th. Skills down 5th. Lee Craig 6th. Assassin in 7th. Black Box 8th. Wasted in 9th for Pat. Gets himself into that top 10. Good lap from the Pat, knocking the McLaren. It's orange. It's clearly a McLaren. It's not orange. It's papaya. If you're a McLaren fan. If you're not, it's freaking orange. Zach Johnson and Barbarian are with each other, holding hands on row 6. Hold the line caller, I think that's my son's food arriving. I do apologise for that. My bad son ordered himself a pizza and didn't bother to come and fucking open the door like a big fat knob. Let me just text him quick. So annoying, isn't it? Don't have kids, folks. It's not worth it. Even if some of them are old. Right, where are we at? Still waiting for Sean. We're still waiting for Naismith. We're still waiting for Death Peacock. We're still waiting for Drunk Pirate to set laps for us. Cameron Poulter still on pole. Great start to the season for him last week. Can he maintain it? Chuckle just behind him. Just 3/10 is the difference between him and Cameron Poulter out in front. David Barry jumps into third, knocking Rapid F1 down a position. Still on row 2 though. Explicit Simo with Skills Dan on row 3. It's Lee Craig and Wasted on row 4. Assassin and Black Box round out that top 10. Zach Johnson with the Pat. Those two McLarens now separated by the Pat and Vroom, who is in 13th. Barbarian in 14th. Panda in 15th. And still, with just 6 minutes remaining, Sean and Naismith, Death Peacock and Drug Pirates still need to set a qualifying time. And you may notice, I don't know if I talked about it last week, but you may notice our new little sponsor up in the top right corner, Dubby Energy. Get clicking on the link in the description immediately. Buy yourself some energy drinks and do it now, because I said. Thanks very much. Moving on. Are these three going to come out? Naismith, Death Peacock and Drop Pirate. Are they going to set a lap any time soon? Because you need to get a banker lap in. If you leave it to the last minute, you're putting yourself in a really dangerous position, because you're then relying on one singular hot lap to get you qualified. And for me, that's not the way to go, I think. I think you need to have something on the board. Even if it's not a great lap, even if it is something like, you know, a sort of mid-128, something like that. If it's somewhere around there, you know, it puts you around that the middle of the pack, top 10, top 11. But at least you've got something there. You could potentially go out, do one hot lap, absolutely cock it up, and find yourself joining Chuck at the very, very back. So 5 minutes remain. Cameron Poulter's back in the pits. He's happy with his 27.3. Skills Dan has put himself on that front row alongside Cameron Poulter. That is a 27.5 from him, separating him and Chuckle down to row 2. Of course, great battle last season between Skills Dan and Chuckle Brothers for the championship. And of course, Chuckle Brothers in the end won out after the pair of them smashed into each other on the one of the final lap, I think it was the penultimate lap of the final race of the season, handing Chuckle the championship, just gifting it to him, wrapped up in a little gold bow. Rapid F1, good to see him back up to speed. It's been a while. He's into the pits now. David Barry and Assassin, Explicit Simo, Lee Craig, then it's Wasted and Black Box rounding out your top 10. Not many cars left on the track now. Sean and Zach Johnson, and they're in the pits, of course. The Patty's on an outlap. He's looking to improve that 128.7. Put himself further up the order. Vroom, 128.9. He's in the pits. Barbarian's at 29.6. Panda with a 29.9. Finally, Death Peacock and Drug Pirate are on their outlap. And my dog... So my son, I said he just bought himself pizza. He bought me some hot wings. Very nice of him. I'll tell you about what I said about being in Belland. He's not Belland. And the dog's noticed I've got wings, right? And what happens when I normally eat wings is I sit there and I eat the good bit and then I peel the shit off the ends and I give it to the dog. And the dog knows the wings are there and I'm not eating them yet because I'm waiting till after this is finished. Right? But my dog is sitting right next to me, licking my knees in the hope that I'm going to chuck some chicken her way. And she can fuck herself. Yes, she can. Yes, she can. Right. Last ditch effort coming up for everybody. That is Drunk Pirate on his outlap. Death Peacock on his hot lap. How's he getting on? Let's bring up some... what do we want? We want... no, we don't want that. We want lap data. So here he goes across the line. And Death Peacock hasn't set a time yet. So this is the hot lap now, is it? Yes, it is. Heading down into the left-hander coming up to this turn 4, which is massive left-hander. On the power he goes. There we go. Sweeping around the left-hand side, staying on that power, with the DRS wide open, of course, in that AlphaTauri. He's looking to get himself on the board, because this is really the only opportunity Death Peacock is going to get to set a qualifying lap time. By the time this lap is set, there's not going to be enough time to come in, change the tyres, come out and have another blast. At least I don't think there is. So this one has to count. This one has to mean something, unless they're planning on doing back-to-back hot laps, of course. So Death Peacock heads down through Sector 2, DRS detection zone, useless at this particular moment in time. Maggots, Beckett's, they're through there, and then on the power we go. Down through the last DRS zone again, that rear wing, the rear wing, it's wide open. Just 3 more corners. How's the time looking? 1:19, 1:20 coming into this final succession of corners. Round the final corner we go into the international pit straight, and it's down, and it is top 8, 1:28.3. It could be worse. Is Death Peacock going for another crack at it? That's the question. Right. Naismith and Drunk Pirate dicing with death. And at the moment, Drunk Pirate has just put himself 8th place. Black Box has improved as well. Fingers, how the bloody hell are you, you big lanky bugger? You all right, mate? Good to see you. It's been a while, actually, because obviously I didn't do Friday because I didn't have a voice. And, yeah, we haven't spoken for a bit. I will catch up with you later, of course. Straight after this, we got more F1 action for Late Night Racing League. They are at the... life is all about contrast, right? Right now we're at Silverstone, great racetrack, one of the best racetracks in the world. And then after this we've got to go to NNR Racing, and we go to one of the worst racetracks on the planet. Horrible to drive, horrible to watch. It's in France, it stinks of garlic, it's just rubbish. But we'll see how it goes. Not a big fan of the Paul Ricard, as you could probably tell. So Drunk Pirate puts himself 8th. Just Naismith left to set the lap. Any lap. Cameron Poulter still on Cameron Poulter. See what I did there? Still holding that pole position. Car's starting to finish up now. Naismith, dicey, very dicey, leaving it to the last minute in that Ferrari. Chuckle Brothers has got to be his target. He's in the same car. I know they're all equal performance, but, you know, got to compare him to something, haven't we? And here he goes. Into Sector 3 he comes. We're waiting to see what this next split is. Maggots, Beckett's, Cops. There's a car in the way there. Probably, well, to be fair, it wasn't on the racing line, but it still puts you off when you see a slow car anywhere near you. That didn't go green. Well, it can't go green. You've got nothing to compare it to, idiot. You're not in Bahrain tonight. You're not in Bahrain. It said France. Don't even do that to me, because I will headbutt you. I think you're messing with me. Right, so Naismith doesn't do too badly. Funny enough, the 3 that left it at the last minute all put themselves 8th at one stage or another. Right, Cameron Poulter. He is your pole sitter. Chuckle does get himself back onto that front row, but can't steal pole from Cameron Poulter. David Barry, Skills Dan, Rapid F1 and Assassin, Explicitissimo and Naismith, Drunk Pirate, my brother from another mother, Lee Craig, a Black Box, Death Peacock, Wasted, The Pats, Zach Johnson, Sean, Vroom Panda, Barbarian, and Chuck Brothers. who got disqualified, so had to not qualify. Got qualifying ban. That's what happens when you get disqualified. So there we go. Everyone done. We can move on. I'm sure you're messing with me. I'm 100% sure you're messing with me. You're going to make me check the Discord now, and I'm going to be proved wrong, and I'm going to have to headbutt you. No, it's not. I saw the check-in, and the check-in said France. The check-in does not say France. The check-in says Bahrain. Who's in France, then? Oh, I know. It's all right. Ignore me. I know who's in France. Don't worry about that. I know who's in France. I've already done all the thingies anyway for Bahrain. I've done pretty much all of them for the season. Lucky, innit? Lucky, innit? Right, anyway, there is your grid order. Cameron Poulter, Chuckle Brothers, David Barry. There your front three. Skills Dan, got a bit of work to do to catch up with Chuckle. It's going to be a good one. We've got 5 different cars in the front. 5. So here we go. Was it 26 laps? There or thereabouts, I think. It can be one stopped with softs and hards if you're really, really good at tyre saving, or you like potentially crashing. But because it's raining, that's not really going to be an issue. Look how quickly I forgot it was going to rain. Is it inters or is it wets? That's the big question. And is there going to be a change? And will at some stage the weather switch? Will this track dry out? I'm looking forward to seeing if it does. But race on. Formation lap ensues. They'll go around these few corners, get themselves into the correct position, and then we'll get cracking with 26 racing laps here at Silverstone. Going to be interesting to see how quickly Chuck can fight his way through the field. And because he's obviously starting in 20th position, nothing to lose by having a go. It is full wet, as I've been told. I do find it internally frustrating, right, that the drivers get more weather information than a commentator, when ideally, actually, a commentator would probably have immediate access to that information first. Never ceases to amaze me, but yeah, is what it is. We have to make this up as we go along, because that's what we do. That's what we do. More F1 straight after this with LNR, and we're at Bahrain. We're not in France. I'll tell you about what I said. But I still hate France, but I'm not there later. It's Bahrain later. I'm France another time, somewhere else. Yeah, that's it really. So just waiting for everyone to line up on the grid. Cameron Poulter from Chuckle, David Barry from Skills Dan, Rapid F1 from Assassin. Nobody's gone for the intermediate tyres, I don't think. Explicit Simo from Naismith, Drunk Pirate from Lee Craig, Black Box from Death Peacock, Wasted from The Pat, Zach Johnson from TTG Sean. Yeah, well, yeah, no, I agree with you, Rose. You are right. I could just look out the window for weather. It doesn't really work when you're commentating on a race, though, does it? Because you don't control those weather settings from outside your freaking window, you weirdo. That was calm with that cough. See, I told you I'm not fully better. Right, Cameron Poulter, there is your pole sitter. But we're going to start on board with the Rapid F1. That's them lining up behind. I think everyone's where they need to be. 2 stop on wets. 3 stop on wets is just stupid. So here we go. That's 3, that's 4, that's 5 lights. They'll go out, and we go racing here at Silverstone, the home of British motorsport. And that's a great start from Rapid F1. He's trying to go through the middle of David Barry and Skills Dan, but gets a little bit wobbly. Can't make the double move, but is making the move now on Skills Dan. And he's up into third. That's a great start from him. Cameron Poulter holds on to the lead from Chuckle Brothers. Rapid F1 up to third place. Skills Dan and David Barry losing out to Rapid F1 from that start. Assassin in 6th position in the AlphaTauri. Explicit Simo running in 7th. As Black Box moving up. And Drunk Pirate moving down. Wasted moving down. What is going on, Wasted? Are you facing the wrong way, my friend? Wasted is, he is facing the wrong way. And I'm afraid to say, my friend, that you cannot do that because...
You can't park that there, mate.
He's back on the track now, but has he got a wing missing? That's a big, big question. It looks like there is no wing on the Williams, so that's got to be replaced. Cameron Poulter absolutely melting it out in front, 1.3 seconds already the gap to Chuckle. But, of course, because it's yellow flaggish, because we had that little crashy crash, the race is negated, of course. So no one's going racing anywhere right now. So, how have we done in terms of position change? Well, not much change in the top 7. Rapid F1 gained a couple of places, we know. Skills Dan stayed where he was. David Barry moved down 2 positions. Assassins, Explicit Simmer are where they qualified. Everyone else there's plenty of movement. Lee Craig, Death Peacock, 2 and 3 places respectively. Black Box up into the top 10. Zach Johnson gains 4 positions. Drunk Pirate, not a great start from Drunk Pirate, dropping down 3 positions to 12th. That's Lee Craig diving in the pits very, very early. Why is he moving up through the order when he's in the pits? It's a bit odd, isn't it? There we go, that's better, huh? Wasted, of course, in the pits. We've got to change that front wing. Then we've got, who else has lost out? Naismith, 8 places lost for Naismith, 9 for Lee Craig, but that's the pit stop. Wasted, lost 7. Pit stop strategy, 2 sets of wets. That's assuming, of course, it doesn't dry out a little bit. If it stays full wet, then we might see some crashy. We are back underway, of course. Cameron Poulter leads from Chuckle. Rapid F1, who's gained a couple of places. Big fan of Silverstone, as we know. Seen him race around here before, and he's being quick. He is having a go. Can he, though? Look, the moment Cameron Poulter is he's a championship leader after 1 race, of course. Very dominant last week. Chuckle is the reigning champion and super, super fast. Can Rapid F1 keep up with these guys, and not only keep up with them, but get past them and take over that first or second position? Key here is going to be just keeping on the black stuff, really. I mean, yeah, it's all well and good having pace, but if you're pushing too hard, you get a little bit squirrely, you touch a bit of grass, you touch one of the curbs. In these conditions, you are saying good night, bye-bye, see you later. And you do not want to put yourself in that difficult position. There's Cameron Poulter leading the charge at the moment. Look at the rain on the front wing of that Mercedes-Benz. And yes, it's an odd sight to the Mercedes in the lead at the moment, isn't it? Lots of fastest laps coming in. I think we'll ignore fastest laps for the time being. It's going to keep ramping up and ramping up and ramping up. Chuckle second, Rapid third. Skills Dan. Lovely pink helmet for Skills Dan. In 4th position. David Barry, a couple of places lost at the start. He's in 5th. Assassin in 6th. Explicit in 7th. Death Peacock. And for those of you that are watching for the first time, Death Peacock is not one driver. He is, he's facing the wrong way. I'm very sorry, my friend.
You can't park that there, mate.
Death Peacock is actually 4 different people controlling the car. It's a thrash metal band from Devon called Death Peacock. The drummer does the brakes, and the lead singer does the accelerator. The bass guitarist turns left, and the rhythm guitarist turns right. It's that simple. That's how they drive the car. And they weren't in sync then, and they nearly crashed, losing plenty of positions. Zach Johnson in 8th now moves up. 7 places gained for him. There's a shoe-in for driver of the day right there. Black Box in 9th position. Drunk Pirate down 1 into 10th. Barbarian up 8 places gained for him in the thingy. The McLaren. That's the one. And at the moment, having a little Chuck Brothers. That's good movement from Chuck from 20th position already up to 13th. And is he making a move here on Barbarian? Maybe he was made the move on Naismith. He's round the outside of Barbarian, makes that move. He's up into 12th, now chasing up after Vroom. His brother Chuckle putting in the fastest lap of the race with a 1:43 something. I didn't see what it was. So Chuck now chasing down Vroom. That's just 0.7 of a second up the road. How quickly can he close? Of course, he's not going to have the benefit of DRS. It is wet. You don't get none when it's wet, and that's the fact. Here he goes, though. He's getting ever closer. He's showing some phenomenal pace in that Red Bull racing car behind the Alfa Romeo of Vroom. And that's a penalty for Lee Craig being picked up back in 18th. Started oh so well. And now it's a bit miserable as the Pat makes the move on the Barbarian. And Barbarian makes the move back on the Pat. Going off between these two. Can Chuck get any closer? Can Chuck make the move as they come round into the fastest part of the racetrack? And this is where surely he can chuck one up the inside. If a gap's left, there's no gap. He has to look and wait and hang on. Little bit wide goes for him. Does that give him a little bit of impetus now? Chuck. This is Chuck. Very close to the back of him as they come through Maggots and Beckett's. Very close. He's certainly got a lot more pace than Vroom through here. Getting the power down. And again, just not close enough coming out. But carried so much more speed through 11, 12, 13, 14 than Vroom ahead of him. And there we go. There's the overtake done. His next target is going to be Drunk Pirate. And that's some way up the road. That's still 3 seconds up the road to Drunk Pirate. And Chuckle has made the move on Cameron Poulter and taken the lead of this race. So we've seen a Death Peacock out of this race. That's going to be another safety car. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Lap 5 of 26. And we have, I think this is full safety this time. It is a full, indeed a full safety car. Death Peacock crashing out of this race was DNF anyway. So, good time to have a full rundown, I think, methinks. Chuckle in the Ferrari leads from Cameron Poulter, the pole sitter, in the Mercedes-Benz. Rapid F1 in the Alfa Romeo after gaining a couple of places right at the start. Finds himself in that top 3. And then we've got Skills down in the Alpine in 4th position. Behind him, David Barry in the lead Haas. Ahead of Assassin in the AlphaTauri. Explicit Simo, he's in the Aston Martin with Zach Johnson in the McLaren just behind him. Black Box in the Red Bull. Him and Chuck Brothers in the other Red Bull separated by Drunk Pirate in that Aston Martin. Naismith, the other Ferrari driver, down in 12th. He's lost 4 positions in this race thus far. Vroom in 13th place in the other Alfa Romeo. Then we've got the Pat in the Alpine on the racetrack in the 14th. Ahead of Panda, who is called Panda because they've never, ever had sex. That's true. 16th is Sean in the other Haas. Lee Craig in the other Mercedes. Not really getting the same performance out of the Mercedes that Cameron Poulter is. Barbarian in the other McLaren in 18th place. Penalty for Black Box in the pits. Drunk Pirate in as well. As is Rapid F1, interestingly. Wasted in 19th place. Why are they pitting so early? Is there a... Oh, intermediate tyres going on. Methinks that's an interesting decision. So, Rapid F1, Drunk Pirates, and Black Box all feeling the inters. The Pat and Sean are in as well under safety car. Interestingly, the race leaders, the three top drivers out there, well, in fact the 5 top drivers out there, haven't blinked and have actually stayed out on the wet compound tyres. Now, is it that Rapid F1 Black Box, Drunk Pirate, the Pat, Sean, and what looks like probably Lee Craig as well, are they taking a big gamble here? Is it that it is wet weather, but they're kind of hoping that it comes to them on the intermediate tyres and they can start to show some good pace? Or is it just stupidity and those guys out front are thinking, what are you doing, man? Interestingly, I thought Rapid F1 was going to pick a different part of the racetrack, of course. So, safety car number 1, we've already had a VSC, it's not really a real safety car. They're tucked in behind that Aston Martin safety car after losing Death Peacock from this race on lap number 3. We have got a number of drivers, in fact, Rapid F1 all the way down to Wasted, other than Barbarian, of course, all opting for the intermediate tyres, despite it being very, very wet out there. Cameron Poulter, Skills Dan, David Barry, all along with Chuckles staying on those wets though. So interesting decision. And see how this strategy plays out for those. Well, there we go. Skills Dan jumping in, so maybe they're seeing the benefit now of intermediate tyres. Chuckle, however, stays out. Cameron Poulter stays out. This is a really, really interesting turn of events because clearly it is intermediate tyre territory now. Because you can see the faster drivers are all going in to make that decision. So, can Chuckle, despite not going in under the safety car for intermediate tyres, can Cameron Poulter, can Zach Johnson, can Chuck, look at Chuck, he's up to 4th place. Now, if this strategy of not putting on intermediate tyres works for them, which it very possibly could, then they're going to prove to be, that's going to prove to be an absolute brilliant decision from Chuck to stay on those wet tyres, and it's going to be a brilliant finish, considering that he was disqualified from qualifying and started at the very back of the grid. So we're going to find out in the next couple of laps. We'll wait for the safety car to come in, which hopefully will be at the end of this lap. It's been out there for 4 laps now. Hopefully at the end of this lap the safety car comes in and we can go racing again and find out whether it is ready for intermediate tyres. I'm looking at the track and to me it still looks a little bit too wet to be on anything other than the wet weather tyres. As Lee Craig retires from this session, did he crash? Or Wasted's some way back actually. I was going to have a look and see where he clearly has crashed, but I was going to hopefully see where he crashed.
I crashed.
You crashed? How are you coming fast?
Well, you're not going fast because you crashed. It disappears as we get there with Wasted, so we didn't even get to see how crashed he was. So does that extend the safety car, or does it come? It's not coming in this lap because we would have heard already. It is staying out for one more lap. Was it that crash that caused the safety car to stay out, maybe? So lap 7 of 26. Most of the field, the majority of the field on intermediate tyres. Just the top 7. Chuckle, Cameron, Zach, Chuck, Naismith from Panda, and Barbarian down in 13th on the wet weather tyres. We've got Rapid F1, Black Box, Drunk Pirate, the Pat, the Sean, the Skills Dan, the David Barry, the Assassin, the Explicit, and the Wasted, all on the intermediate tyres. So kind of split, just over half have opted for intermediate tyres over wets here. But I mean, you can see there, it does, to me it doesn't look like Inter's weather. So I'm thinking it might be a bit of a gamble. It might be a gamble that pays off. It might be a gamble that goes horribly wrong, especially because the rain is still coming down. So it's not like the rain stopped and the track is drying. The rain is still coming down. The track is still wet. And I don't really see any significant dry lines through the wet part of the racetrack. It's getting, don't get me wrong, you can see there is a small drying line, but it's getting covered in water as they come round, so not entirely sure this is the cleverest decision these guys have made. But we'll soon find out. Hopefully, touch a bit of wood, the safety car comes in at the end of this lap, which is lap 8 of 26. So far we've lost Lee Craig, we've lost Death Peacock. They're both out of this race. Death Peacock on lap 3. His exit brought about the safety car, and under this safety car, Lee Craig also managed to crash. Going slowly, he managed to crash behind a safety car. How'd you manage that? I don't know. Safety car is in this lap, so we will get back racing again. Let's go on board with Chuck for the restart, because he has been super quick already today, working his way from 20th on the grid up to 4th. And we get to see now if Rapid F1 is going to be your benchmark, because he's been really quick here already, and he's now on those intermediate tyres. So we head round, we're in sector 3. The safety car has peeled off into the pits. Just 3 corners before they get on that power and head down the international pit straight to commence lap 9 here of 26 at the home of British Motorsport. And here we go. On the power they go through that final turn. And he did get caught sleeping a little bit, Chuck. He's already 1.1 seconds back from those cars ahead. Now, Rapid F1, how quickly is he catching Panda? There is Panda. Panda is trying to make a move on Vroom in a minute. Very close. Panda does make that move. No, doesn't. Can't make it stick. But these intermediate tyres, it just looks to be a little bit ropey into the corners on those inters at the minute. Doesn't seem to be getting the grip that I think they were expecting. And I was saying that there's that black box on intermediate tyres making the move on Rapid F1. Clearly got better, more to grips, talking to grips, with those intermediate tyres than Rapid F1 has at this stage. Can he get them fired up? That's the thing. Look at the Pat. The Pat's going to make a move on the drunk pirate right now. He's too drunk to notice, maybe. That's why. Can the Pat get a good run out here? Heading down towards Sector 2 they go. Not getting close enough to make the move at all. So, no real big moves yet from these intermediate tyre runners, except on each other, of course. And the gap to Panda, who is the last of those front-running wet runners, is opening right up between her and Vroom and Naismith ahead, 3 seconds. Black box is within a second of Panda, and Cameron Poulter into the pits. So maybe they are starting to feel it's time for intermediates. Fastest lap from Chuckle Brothers would suggest that actually we haven't crossed that line yet, because when you've got a wet track, you've always got that line. So there's that kind of the point at which it becomes unfeasible to stay on the wet tyres and feasible only for intermediates. Between that, you've got a section where it is just wets, and you've got a section where it's just inters, and then you've got on the cusp where either or are about the same. But with Chuckle putting in the fastest lap of the race, I wonder that if it's still this side of the line, this wet tyre side of the line, because he's not making any moves at all to go into the pits. There's a problem in Sector 1. That is Assassin going very slowly. They're on intermediate tyres as well. We saw, who did we see go in the pits? We saw Skills Dan go in. Come back out in 12th. Right slap bang in the middle of that gaggle of cars on the intermediates. The Pat picking up a time penalty. Black Box has one already to boot. And Cameron Poulter picking up a time penalty as well. As Cameron Poulter went in, come out in 17th on the intermediate tyres. And Barbarian staying out in 16th. And it looks like Cameron Poulter might catch, but in terms of overall pace, they are a little bit quicker, Cameron Poulter, than Barbarian. That's why they're making that move. I don't think we can really base that on the tyres. What we need to see if Black Box can make a move on Vroom. At the moment, Vroom is some way behind Zach Johnson. And the last thing that Black Box wants to see, as Chuck Brothers putting in fastest lap there with a 1:42. So Chuck and Chuckle putting in great fast laps. They're rapid F1 now. He's done it on the inters. So maybe we're turning that corner now. This is when it's all changed. 2 more going into the pits. One of them, Panda, is had to repair some damage. It looks that way. It doesn't look like, oh, there is a front wing on the car. Odd pit stop. Look, they didn't need to pit unless they were serving some sort of penalty or something. I don't know. Bit odd. Speeding in the pit lane for Barbarian. That's a 5-second penalty. You don't want one of them. So Chuckle leads the way. Chuckle, and Rapid F1. They've put in the last 3 fastest laps have been done by them. 2 on wet tyres, and then the latest by Rapid F1 on the intermediates. So have we seen that turning point? Is this the point at which now you should be on those intermediate tyres? At the moment, Chuckle is 2.7 seconds ahead of his brother Chuck. He is 1.3 clear of Naismith, the other Ferrari driver, and one of the last runners on the wet compound tyres. Vroom still hanging in there, although now Black Box is through, Rapid F1 is through. So it's time for Vroom to cut their losses. Otherwise, you can hold out, I suppose, for a safety car, but it might be a safety car that never comes. And you're only going to make matters worse if those cars behind you start to catch. And I think Chuckle recognises that now, and in he comes to the pits. Chuck's in, Chuckle's in, Black Box is in, Naismith is in, Vroom is in. Don't know why Naismith is in, because Naismith was already on. Oh no, he was on the wet tyres. Ignore me. So who's that? That's everyone now coming out. So everybody is now on the intermediate tyres, and Black Box in the Red Bull is right out in the lead. Rapid F1 tucked in behind, just 0.8 of a second in the Alfa Romeo. So Rapid F1, great start, gained a couple of places right from the outset. Jumped early for the intermediate tyres, didn't see an initial impact. Now we do. We see a great impact for Rapid F1, and yeah, running 0.8 of a second behind Black Box. Drunk Pirate is 5 seconds back, and the Pat in the Alpine is all over the back of Drunk Pirate. And can they force Drunk Pirate to make a mistake, or to leave a gap? At the moment, it doesn't look like it. It actually looks like Drunk Pirate is getting control and taking ahead. Now Black Box, despite being in the lead, is picking up penalties galore. We'll have a quick look at how many penalties are out there. So 8 seconds for Black Box, which when served will put them down in probably around 4th or 5th place. 3 seconds for the Pat, 3 seconds for Explicit Simo, 3 for Cameron Poulter, 5 seconds by Barbarian, but already at the back of the pack. It's not really going to have a significant impact. Wasted, despite the fact that Wasted stopped 3 times, is up in 9th place. Right, so position changes. Fastest lap for Black Box with a 1:40.9, out in the lead in the Red Bull. 10 places gained for Black Box, but has a significant job to do, because 8 seconds worth of penalties means they're going to have to build a nice big gap, as Barbarian picking up loads more at the back of the pack. Cameron Poulter with the fastest lap now, 1:40.6. When are we going to see a sub 1:40 lap? It's coming. How soon is it coming? We're halfway. Lap 13 of 26. Rapid F1 in second. Drunk Pirates in third. The Pat in fourth. Sean in 5th place. Skills Dan in the other Alpine running in 6th. 2 places lost for him. David Barry losing 4 places in the Haas. 0.8 back from Skills Dan. Explicit in the Aston Martin. That's a half second with 1 place lost. As it stands, Wasted up 4 in 9th in the Williams. Cameron Poulter in the Mercedes-Benz at one stage was leading this race, but blinked a little bit too late for those intermediates. Now down in 10th. Chuckle behind, 1.9 seconds back. They both lost 9 places, pitting late like they did. Chuck, though, look, you can't... You look at it now and say, oh, okay, well, we started in 20th, he's in 12th. But you have to recognise that he made it up to the dizzy heights of 3rd. And if these 3, Cameron Poulter, Chuck Brothers, Chuckle and Chuck Brothers, all make their way back up to where they were, it's going to be a phenomenal race from him. He's got to be an outside bet for driver of the day, right? Naismith has got nay points in 13th at the moment. I had to do it. Zach Johnson in 14th, 2.7 seconds back. And there we go. We saw a sub 38, sub 40, should say. And straight away Chuckle with a sub 39. So the times are ramping. Do we see that? Are we going to make it to slicks in this race? It is still raining, but does it dry out enough for a few laps on slicks at the end? Panda running in 15th, 4.8 seconds behind Zach Johnson. Vroom, 1.4 behind Panda. Assassin is not killing it today. 1 second back from Vroom in 17th. And Barbarian, 29 seconds back from Assassin with 4.5 days worth of penalties. So Black Box still leads from Rapid F1, but we can see there. No, we can't. I'm trying to get the rest of your one. Wait, camera. There we go. So there is the view behind, and you can see Rapid F1 getting closer and closer. But those two pulling away from Drunk Pirate in 3rd. The longer they can keep Drunk Pirate ahead of those faster drivers like Skillsdown, like David Barry, like Chuckle, like Cameron, like Chuck, the better it's going to be for these guys to pick up the big money points today. Lap 15 of 26. Don't know if the Interceptor's going to last. I'm pretty sure the Interceptor's going to last the distance from there. But it's whether or not, well, one or two things going to happen. It's either going to get wetter and they're going to need to put on the full wets again, or it's going to dry out and it's going to be time for slicks. That might change things up, particularly if we see a safety car. Naismith is 13th place, fastest lap of the race thus far, though, but picking up time penalties along the way. So it's Black Box from Rapid F1. Rapid F1 can't quite get close enough at the moment to Black Box to make that move. Drunk Pirate running 7 seconds back and dropping about half a second a lap at the moment towards the Pat, who's got Sean 2.7. And now this is an opportunity for the Pat, because with Sean being 2.7 seconds back, if they can make that move past Drunk Pirate, they've got nice clear road ahead of them. Not going to be stuck in any dirty air to worry about. And it's not really beneficial in this scenario because there's no DRS. So it would be nice if you get some nice fresh racetrack ahead. You haven't got the spray from the car in front affecting your view, and can't really see it there. I'm not quite close enough at the moment, but it will be causing problems. So if the Pack can make that move before Sean closes, before Skills Dan closes on Sean, we could see a little charge down on Black Box and Rapid F1 potentially. There was a squeak, did you hear it? Just came in. There is Skills Dan in the second of the two Alpines. That's Pat's teammate. At the moment they're sandwiching Sean, and David Barry and Sean are sandwiching Skills Dan. Fastest lap from Chuckle, 1:38.3. Closing on Cameron Poulter. How easy is it going to be to overtake Cameron Poulter? That's the big burning question. And we do some burning. It would certainly dry this track out. And this is the chase down. Cameron Poulter getting a little bit of slipstream off of wasted. Nothing that's going to be of any real significance. Can they keep Chuckle at bay? Chuckle is on a bit of a charge now. A couple of fastest laps. I don't know what happened there. Oops. What happened there? Oh, I leant on my steering wheel. Sorry about that. Yeah, so keeping him at bay at the moment. but it's a difficult task to overtake in this weather anyway, particularly if you're all on the same strategy. Chuck behind, losing time now, 7 seconds back from these two. These two are a little bit out of sync in terms of track. That is that's the expression of abuse of the track limits right there. That was a little bit brave with them. It looks like though Chuckle actually got away with that massive abuse of track limits. That was almost an entirely new corner he just invented there. So good run now. Can he pick up a good exit from the final corner and get a run down into turn 1? Cameron Poulter making a move on Explicit Simo, and straight away Chuckle following through. Sorry, on Wasted, and Chuckle following through. That was important. Chuckle had to get that done at the same time to avoid Cameron putting away, and he's just put in a 1:38.1 in this race. Straight away, Chuck with a 37.7. So it is really, really opening up. The rain has slowed, but it's not gone away. Chase down is still on though. He's almost half a second a lap quicker. But eventually, there's going to be nowhere for him to go unless he can get past him. So how long is he going to be held up behind him at this stage? That's the big burning question. So Black Box is still leading the way in the Red Bull. Rapid F1 sticking with him. They're opening up a gap all the time from Drunk Pirate in third. And the conditions are making it very, very difficult to overtake because the track is getting quicker. It's evolving, but it's still wet, which means your brake points are still a little bit further back than you'd like them to be. It means your exit points you're not getting all the power quite so early because of the weather. Black Box trying to hold on, but Rapid F1 having a very similar problem that Chuckle is behind Cameron Poulter. Can get really, really close, but can't get close enough to get a decent run. You know, there's some decent side straights here, but the thing about Silverstone is it hasn't got some of the really iconic long straights like you got at the likes of places like Monza, like we've got as a Pat finally making a move on Drunk Pirate briefly. We'll go back and have a look at that. Like at Monza, like at Canada, you've got these really, really long straights, which when you've got a kind of run on somebody like this, it gives you that opportunity to get there. Here at Silverstone, they're not that long, so you really have to be on the money with the overtake. It has to be under braking in the corners, and when the conditions are like this, there really is only one line through. It is pretty good. It is pretty good here with the rain. I assume by snowing here you mean in Poland, not here in Silverstone, of course. No, it's a pretty darn good race, and at the moment, interestingly, the reigning champion and the championship leader are running 8th and 9th. The Pat desperately trying to find a way around Drunk Pirate. It's just not happening. And all the while, Rapid F1 and Black Box out in the lead, just pulling away, opening up that gap. And they can, if they wish, run these intermediate tyres to the end of the race. But Rapid F1 gets that move done finally. Can it stick though? Black Box is not giving this up. Round the outside. Switcheroo on maybe? No, it's not. Rapid F1 takes the lead. And with a name like Rapid F1, you bloody well have to be. We did say, to be fair, Rapid F1 has been a Thursday Tier 1 champion. So let's not pretend that last season was a bit of an anomaly for Rapid F1. Didn't have the greatest of seasons, but is a previous Thursday Tier 1 champion. So you should never, ever rule out Rapid F1 in Smoking Pirellis leagues, because he's got the racecraft and he's got the pace. And now he's ahead of Black Box. You can see he's opening up a gap straight away. So he was held up behind there for so long. The Pat, however, cannot get the Alpine past the Drunk Pirate into the third. It's so difficult. We saw how long it took Rapid F1 to get through, and now the Pat having a similar issue. Just getting look how close the Pat can get to the back of the Drunk Pirate, but just can't find a way through. Can't make that final push to get up into that top three. The pole sitter, Cameron Poulter, he's currently sitting in 6th place. Remember that Cameron Poulter, Chuck, Naismith, they all didn't gamble on the intermediate tyres. Had they done so, when everyone else did it under the safety car, they may still be leading this race. Shan has left the session. I don't know how that's worked, because Shan isn't on the racetrack. I'm assuming Shan was spectating. To be fair, should have jumped in and done a commentary with me. That would have been pretty cool. So, in the pits goes a lot of this means, you know what this means, didn't you? Slip. AJ, guess what? They're going on the slicks, man. They are going on the slicks. That many cars do not pit in one go if it's not time for some slick tyres, baby. And it's going to be soft tyres till the end of this race. Or is it? Was it just a standard pit stop? Or are we going racing? Yes, we are. Rapid F1, Black Box, Drunk Pirate, they have all gone on to slick tyres. And let's have a look on what tyres they've gone for. Rapid F1's gone for the mediums. Now, the softs can do, and I've done the math here somewhere, 7 to 8 laps. So he could have put the softs on. But towards the end of that 7 or 8 laps, they are really, really at the end of their life. So I actually think with an 8-second lead, Rapid F1's done the right thing going on the mediums, because it's given him that little bit extra rubber for the end of the race. If Black Box does make the charge on the softs, or one of the faster guys like Cameron Poulter, like Chuckle, managed to come through. Oh look, it's Jizzy! How you doing, Jizzy? As you're here, this is for you, man. How you doing, mate? If Drunk Pirate scores the first place, you will eat your slippers. Come on, Drunk Pirate. I'll tell you what, if he does score 3rd place, you've got to webcam it, and we will show it in the interval between qualifying and the race on Thursday. And you're not allowed ketchup either. So Rapid F1 leads 7.5 seconds. Black Box is closing that gap on the soft slick tyres, but we've only got 5 laps remaining, and those soft tyres, after 5-6 laps of pushing, will start to go off. Tasty, yummy. The Pat is in 3rd. What happened to Drunk Pirate? Well, already he's not eating his slippers, because Drunk Pirate's already lost 2 places. Now we're on the slicks. The Pat up to 3rd. Cameron Poulter up to 4th. Remember, he's top of the championship at the moment, Cameron Poulter. He would desperately love to take another win here. That'll be 2 in a row for him at the start of this new season. Chuckle Brothers, the reigning champion. There he is. Running in 6th place. I only did it once in qualifying. I had to do it again. Had to be done. 7th is Skills Dan. He is 2.8 behind Chuckle. Remember the battle between these two at the end of last season? Racing for the championship. One behind the other, and they both, it was a Monza, I believe, wasn't it? And they both fucked off into a wall and died. But we brought them back to life, ready for this season, of course. He is extra husky. Sean running in 8th place as Barbarian picks up yet another penalty. If Barbarian gets any more penalties, they're not going to finish this race until tomorrow. Explicit Simo in 9th. Chuck making the move on Wasted up to 10th. Remember, Chuck got a qualifying ban, so made his way from 20th up to, at one stage, was 3rd. But that was before safety cars and shizzle. So now in 10th. Wasted up to 11th. Naismith not really getting that Ferrari dialed in 12th place. David Barry lost oodles of places, was way up in that top 4. Now down in 13th, chasing down Naismith. But Nay, top 10 for you, my friend. Zach Johnson in 14th in the McLaren. Vroom in the Alfa Romeo in 15th place, with Assassin running in 16th in the Alfa Tauri. Pandas in 17th in the Alpine, Williams of course, and Barbarian with that big, massive pile of penalties. They're going to need a boot to put those penalties in soon. So Rapid F1 has got that lead back out to over 6 seconds, and it looks very much like he's going to put that Alfa Romeo on the top of the tree today. Black Box running in second. 6 seconds is the gap. Black Box, to be fair, qualified where, if I remember rightly, it wasn't super high up. It was, what were we looking for? Position change. Actually, it was 9 places gained by Black Box, which would certainly put them as a potential Ford driver of the day. The pack gaining 10 places. Chuck Brothers also gaining 10 as well. But with Black Box being in second, I think driver of the day is certainly on the cards. As Chuckle puts in the fastest lap of the race from down in 5th position. Cameron Poulter, pole sitter. That's why it's called Cameron Poulter. Otherwise it'd be called Cameron Seconder or Cameron Laster. Currently running third. 5.2 seconds, 3 laps to do it. It's a big, well, 4 laps if you count this one. It's a big task to close down that amount of time on Black Box. We can have a quick look actually at fastest laps. So, there is nothing really to separate Black Box and Cameron Poulter. And in fact, if anything, Black Box has gone quicker. 0.05 of a second faster between those two. Lee Craig and definitely got a bit of an anomaly. They crashed out quite early. But Barbarian not finding the pace. But, I mean, overall, there's not much separating. The 131.5 done by Rapid F1. 130.6 by Chuckle. Down to sort of 33.1 by Panda. I mean, 3 seconds, less than 3 seconds between, other than Barbarian, essentially the fastest and the slowest driver on the track is pretty darn good. What I really need is a last lap thingy, but I haven't got it. Right, so Rapid F1 still at 5.7 seconds clear as Cameron Poulter puts in the fastest lap of the race. Penalties. How do the penalties play into the finishing position now? 3 seconds for Black Box. At the moment, Cameron Poulter 4.2 seconds back, with 3 seconds of his own. So absolutely no benefit there. So Chuckle's going to jump into that top 3, assuming he doesn't pick up a penalty of his own. The Pat, however, 11 seconds worth of penalties. That is probably going to drop her outside the top 10. Potentially. I think the only saving grace, will be Explicit and Chuck with their penalties. Naismith with 8 seconds. David Barry with 3. 6 for Assassin. 3 for Panda. 14 for Barbarian. Barbarian's got so many penalties, they're actually going to finish all the way around and back ahead again, ahead of Rapid F1. That's the rules. If you get that many penalties, you get to go first. So Black Box with those 3 seconds really needs to, I think, just put the hammer down a little bit now, because Chuckle will know there's a penalty being served there, and he's probably listening. So knows that only needs to get within 3 seconds of Black Box to take the second step of the podium. Rapid F1 is going to be very difficult to catch at this stage, I think, and 6 seconds clear on the penultimate lap. And we're heading round to start the final lap of the race, which Rapid F1 is on now. Let's do a full rundown, shall we? Rapid F1 leads from Black Box. Cameron Poulter in 3rd, Chuckle in 4th, but with those penalties should move up to 3rd. The Pat is ahead of the Drunk Pirates. Skills down in 7th, not carrying a penalty, so will gain a position. Sean is ahead of Chuck Brothers. Explicit ahead of Naismith. Nay top 10 for you though. Wasted. Is wasted a day. He's in 12th. David Barry in 13th. 14th for Zach Johnson. 15th for Vroom. Assassin is in 16th. Panda in 17th. Never had sex, that's why they call Panda. Barbarian in 18th place. We've lost Lee Craig. We've lost Death Peacock, that thrash metal band from Devon. And here comes Rapid F1 through Maggots, Beckett's and Cops. They go for the final time. No, they don't. for the second to last time, because lap 25 of 26, of course. Heading down into the utterly pointless end of the DRS zone, because DRS has not yet been enabled. We should get it. They're all on slicks. We should get DRS right. So Rapid F1 comes round to start the final lap of the race. Here he goes. Across the line he goes. This is the last lap. Heading down the international pit lane. Not the Lewis Belen straight. Rapid F1 from black box, 6.7 seconds. Cameron Poulter's closed that gap to 2.6. Will jump black box, but will lose out to Chuckle. So that puts Cameron Poulter on the podium as it stands. Could all change though. Naismith with another penalty. That's 11 seconds for Naismith now. And could potentially drop them down into 14th place behind Zach Johnson. Unless Assassin can do something insane. We'll see. Chuckle just needs to not have a penalty and will guarantee a potential top 2 here. Too much to do now to catch Rapid F1, of course. The patch is going to dive down that order like a stone all the way down. Like they've gone to the top of a snake in a game of snakes and ladders. Drunk Pirate doesn't finish third, and Jizzy doesn't get to eat his slippers, which is such a disappointment because I would have loved that. But here we go into the last 3 corners. 2 corners left, 1 final turn. On the power goes Rapid F1, takes the Alfa Romeo into the start-finish straight, cross the line to take the win here at Silverstone. Black Box comes home in second, but won't make a podium because Cameron Poulter comes in third. Chuckle steals second. And actually Black Box does take third because Cameron Poulter themselves had a penalty, so doesn't get in that top 3. Skills Down moves up to 5th. Sean in 6th. 7th is Wasted. 8th is Drunk Pirate. Chuck is in 9th. The Pat in 10th. Explicit Simo in 11th. 12th, David Barry. Naismith, Zach, Assassin, Vroom, Panda and Barbarian. But your winner, there is your winner, Rapid F1.
Wow, it's very nice.
Very, very nice indeed. Yes, good to see Rapid F1 back on the top of the tree. It's been a while, but it's a good solid win from Rapid F1. Wonderful. To be fair, great start. Qualified in 5th, was in 3rd by the time they got to turn 2, and never really looked like they were out of the pace. Chuckle, good recovery, having pitted far too late for the intermediate tyres. Good result from Black Box, really good result from Black Box. Driver of the day potentially. We'll find out now if that is driver of the day, of course. No, goes to Chuck. To be fair, Chuck did start last and did finish much, much further up the order. Anyway, shall we have a full unadulterated rundown? We'll do that after we've watched... No, we're not even going to watch the dance. So, here we go. This is how it all finished. Rapid F1 for Alfa Romeo from the United Kingdom wins, also with a point for the fastest lap. Chuckle in the Ferrari, also from the United Kingdom, home in 2nd. Black Box for Red Bull, home in 3rd. Cameron Poulter in the Mercedes AMG in 4th place. From Skills Dan in the Alpine. Haas, Sean comes home in 6th. With the Williams driver Wasted just behind. Drunk Pirate in the Aston Martin was 8th. Chuck was 9th. That was 11 places gained from the back of the grid in that Red Bull. The Pat in the Alpine with all those penalties drops all the way down the order. Polish, just like you, AJ. Well, I know you're not Polish, but you are. You're like an adopted Polish person. Explicit Simo, the Aston Martin in 11th. David Barry in the Haas was 12th. Naismith in the Ferrari was 13th. Zach Johnson in that McLaren was 14th. Vroom in the Alfa Romeo, 15th place. Assassin in 16th in the Alfa Tauri. Panda 17th in the Williams. Barbarian in the McLaren, 18th place. And Lee Craig in the Mercedes. And Death Peacock in the AlphaTauri both did not finish this race. Surprisingly, because it was wet, I thought we'd have more DNFs, but we didn't. What a phenomenal race that was. Boom Shankar. So, there we have it. All done and dusted. Another good race here with Smokey Pirellis. Never, ever fail to entertain these guys. They're quick and they know what they're doing. We are back next week with... we're not doing interviews this week, ignore it. We're back next week for more action, but obviously back with Smokey Pirellis on Thursday for Tier 1 at same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you very much for joining me. I've been Owen Pirate, this has been Black Flag Racing TV. We are going to be offline for about 3 minutes while I have a wee, and then we're back on for late night racing. And we're not at France as I thought, we were in Bahrain. So, it's been emotional.